Welcome to Tuesday. It's the 20th day of May, 2025. Your day with a podcast brought to you by ConverseCountyTourism.com. Feel the energy of Converse County. Explore Douglas's railroad heritage, Ayers Natural Bridge, and the Jackalope legend. Glen Rock boasts scenic trails, dinosaur history, and small town charm. Plan your visit at ConverseCountyTourism.com. Yeah, that's snow you see there from Tom up in Gillette, northeastern Wyoming. A lot of you experienced some periods of wet snow. In fact, even this morning, some wet snow falling in the higher elevations of far northeastern Wyoming, western South Dakota, and the Black Hills area. The cold storm system that is in the upper plain states is starting to move away, but we're still going to be in many locations on the backside of this low pressure system. So a chilly, gusty northwest wind will continue. The winds yesterday, steady, gusty, and cold, and I'm afraid today will be somewhat similar. It might be a few degrees warmer, and later in the day the winds will ease up. But I'm afraid that many of you will have to go through the wind. There's also going to be, once the sun comes up, we warm up a little bit, there will be a little bit of isolated shower and thunderstorm activity developing in the northwest flow behind that system today in some locations. Now, for the middle of the week and the end of the week, we're gradually going to get warmer, but we're not going to bounce up really quick with temperatures. This is especially true, and we'll talk about this a bit more here in a moment, along and east of the Continental Divide. West of the Divide, going to warm up pretty quickly. East of the Divide, there's going to be some areas of low pressure that are going to affect things as we head into the Memorial Day weekend. So with that said, the Memorial Day weekend is trending cooler and more unsettled now, especially along and east of the Continental Divide. For you folks west of the Divide to the west coast, it's mainly going to be a high-pressure dominated pattern. But we've got these little ripples coming through that are going to keep things a bit unsettled as we head into the weekend. So we'll focus in on that and take a look at the weekend a little bit more. Going back to Sunday, with all that active weather, we did have several funnel clouds being reported. And we showed you the video yesterday of the tornado activity in Colorado. Of course, there were a lot of tornadoes across the nation on Sunday into Monday. And here's a shot of a funnel cloud in the Cheyenne area. There were several. Now, as cold as it was, these may have been more of the cold air funnel types to where you get a funnel-shaped cloud, but it's a cold air funnel. It would not become a large-scale tornado. Nonetheless, we had several out there. And here's another shot with that thunderstorm that rolled through southeastern Wyoming on Sunday. It's just that time of year we need to heighten our awareness for severe weather and something to be on the lookout for. So we're going to see skies looking a lot like this from what we had in Monument, Colorado yesterday. It's going to look like this afternoon in many areas. Some showers, some blue sky, some gusty and cool northwest winds. Big thunderstorm activity across the southern plains yesterday. You can see there from Lake Bridgeport, Texas. But also beautiful rainbows from Penrose, Colorado, with those showers moving on through. Great rainfall being reported. And if you look right here, you can see 2 inches of rain in the Ucross, Wyoming area. Look how green it is up there. This is remarkable. This part of Wyoming, going back to summer and fall of 2024, was just parched. It seemed like it was never going to rain again. And as we've been mentioning, this part of the region has just been getting wave after wave of precipitation. So great shot there from Cade holding up the rain gauge, showing over 2 inches of rain. And I'm getting reports, and we'll show you this more tomorrow, of a lot of 2 to 3 inch rainfall amounts in parts of northern Wyoming. Some heavier amounts even in western South Dakota and southern Montana. Here's another shot from near Bighorn, Wyoming. You can see over an inch, and then look at the overflow for the 4 inch rain gauge overflowing. So well over an inch of rain up there. This is what happens when it rains and the sun comes out. Look at all that green, lush grass there. So as we go ahead, going forward, again today will look a lot like yesterday in many areas, except if you're further west under the building high pressure along the west coast. Beautiful shot there near Mammoth Lakes. Nice shot from Carl here of the western meadowlark. Not an easy photo capture. They're a little bit wily. Thanks, Carl, for sending that on in. So if you're a bird watcher out there, you'll appreciate that. And of course, the hummingbird showing up in many areas now as well. The low pressure system extends from the southern plains all the way up here As you'll see here in a moment in the satellite photo, you can see the elongated trough of low pressure stretching from here all the way back up into south central Canada, then producing a lot of shower and thunderstorm activity in the Midwest, while we've got high pressure starting to want to build in, but slowly. And you can see the clouds here showing the northwest winds aloft. Radar this morning showing an extensive area of rain from the Corn Belt up through the northern plains. And there's that moisture I talked about wrapping back into Rapid City and into the Black Hills, hanging on here for a little bit longer. So at 500 millibars, this is what it looks like. The system is kind of getting entrained back up into the flow, and we'll see that as we go into the rest of the week and into the weekend. These are the wind gusts for today. So you can see this green area, these areas right here from New Mexico and West Texas through parts of Colorado, Kansas, Nebraska, and Wyoming. Still windy. Now the winds by afternoon and evening will start to subside, but it's going to be another day where fighting those northwest winds, gusty and strong. And as you noticed yesterday, that was a chilly wind out there. Between now and tomorrow, in the northwest flow, there's moisture and instability. So no one's going to get a lot of precipitation in this area here, but there's going to be some scattered showers, isolated thunderstorms popping up today and again Wednesday. Thursday, as it gets a little bit warmer, it'll be more of a thunderstorm pattern. And you can see the continued good solid rains up into the north central United States. So this is for Thursday. As it gets a little bit warmer Thursday, along and east of the divide and a little west of the divide here, we're going to get a patch of afternoon showers and thunderstorms. There's a little tiny wave coming through on Thursday that'll help get those going. Moisture is just sitting down there, and with daytime heating in the southern plains, Texas, Oklahoma here, you're going to see more shower and thunderstorm activity. But starting tomorrow and into Thursday and Friday, temperatures gradually warm up. The low goes now up into New England, and we get this broad area of high pressure here. We mentioned the term dirty ridge, and that's exactly what's going to happen from Friday through Memorial Day. While a general area of high pressure will be over the central and western United States, these little ripples come into the Pacific Northwest and will travel up, over, and around the high. But the high is going to kind of get beat down a little bit and lose some of its strength. That's why the trend of the forecast for Memorial Day weekend is trending a little unsettled and a little bit cooler and maybe a little bit more moist. I'm going to step through Friday through Monday, kind of like what we did yesterday. And we'll do this again later in the week. But I just want to show you, first of all, the precipitation chances and what the temperatures are going to look like throughout the nation as we get into the Memorial Day weekend. You can see from the northern plains across a lot of the U.S., pretty cold on Friday, but here's the warm up underneath the high pressure ridge. But you notice the coolness back here in the Pacific Northwest where that little ripple, that little low is going to come on through. So as we go into Saturday, you're going to see that cooler air expand. So for Friday afternoon, so as you kind of get your weekend started, a lot of folks will be hitting the road Friday afternoon. We will have an active day of showers and thunderstorms across the areas to our south and along and east of the divide, but a little bit of shower and thunderstorm activity, not very much of it associated with that little ripple coming on in. So this gets you through Friday. For Saturday, that little ripple gets a little bit closer. It's about Salt Lake. And notice the high pressure ridge it's weaker. It's not there nearly as strong. And Saturday, look at the coolness that spills along and east of the divide here. So Saturday and into Sunday and Monday, if you're along and east of the divide here, you're just going to be cooler. And that little ripple is going to bring moisture and instability. So Saturday afternoon and evening, and really overnight Friday into Saturday. And then during the afternoon and evening hours of Saturday, showers and thunderstorms across Nebraska, parts of Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, and southwest Montana here. So as you recreate this weekend coming on up, you need to watch out for these. Then on Sunday, the low isn't much further. It's about, maybe over Aspen Vale there. And then as we go through the day Sunday, that moisture and instability will be bottled up here. High pressure tries to rebuild west of the divide, and this is what the temperature looks like on Sunday. So it is going to be cooler. So if the trend continues here, the Memorial Day weekend is not looking as good as it did just a couple of days ago. Now back here it will, with the warm area of high pressure and drier conditions across the Pacific Northwest into California. If you're straddling the fence here, you're going to see the weather being a little bit better. And if we look at precipitation, well, it doesn't show a lot of thunderstorm activity on Sunday, but there could be a fair amount of clouds, hence the coolness. Very active day down here with heavier thunderstorms. As we get into Memorial Day Monday, the low is still moving very slowly about over Nebraska. High pressure is trying to build in behind it. So the cooler air sinks a little bit further south down here into New Mexico, eastern Colorado, the panhandles, and across Kansas. While it does warm up more, the warmth gets a little bit further east as we get into the day on Monday. Monday, some showers and thunderstorms, really wanting to be up along and over near the mountains where the daytime heating is going to be the best. But nonetheless, Sunday is going to bring some scattered shower and thunderstorm activity as well, then into Memorial Day Monday as we're showing you here. So we'll update your weekend forecast for you again before the week's over, but it is trending to be a little bit more unsettled, and you're going to need to plan that if you're planning outdoor activities, especially east of the Continental Divide. Have yourself a good Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow.